In the West, we view women in the Muslim world as being treated pretty poorly. I mean, in a lot of countries, they're barred from attending school or forced to wear a burqa. But Fatema Mernissi argues in her book Beyond the Veil that the current state of women in the Muslim world in the Middle East is actually the fault of European colonialism, not an inherent flaw with the inequality of Islam itself. After the world wars, when the Muslim countries were defeated and colonized, the colonizers began to attempt to show the Muslims that they were inferior, talking about their anarchical traditions such as Sharia law or the Hudud or polygamy. But a majority of these new conversations that were now happening between the West and the East weren't between Muslims and ordinary people, but between colonizers and representatives of nationalist movements, who were usually intellectuals who had previously and continued to support the liberation of Muslim women. This now meant that any attempt to liberate the Muslim woman from her current conditions, such as being subservient to a man, forced to wear a hijab or a burqa, would be seen as making concessions to foreign influence and a movement away from tradition, not a movement for women. There's a clear distinction between those two things. I think Iran is a really great example of this. Before the 1979 revolution, it was governed by a Shah, who was very pro-Western and thus, under our framework, very pro-women's liberation. But a lot of men really didn't like this, and that's why in 1979 there was a revolution, and Ayatollah Khomeini came to power and sought a return to traditional, or otherwise known as non-Western, values. And today, by Western standards, women's rights in the country have gotten way worse in the past 50 years. But I'm really curious, do you buy Mernissi's take on feminism in the Middle East? Is the current state of women really perpetrated by Westerners, or is it something inherently flawed about Islam itself? Let me know in the comments.